Welcome to this episode of the Comedy Defect Podcast. My name's Winter Phonander, I'm a comedian, and this is my show. Those of you old to the show, welcome back. Those of you new, hey, welcome guys. This is episode 62 with a very funny Mr. Dave Green. I saw Dave when I first started years ago, talk about Dave's anxiety with objects and his upcoming show, Melt. I saw his show last year, Slug. It was great. Very gag heavy. If you want to laugh, that's what comedy's about, right? So go check his stuff out. Very funny guy and a really lovely fella to spend an hour with. Hope you enjoy this conversation. You can follow him on Facebook, Twitter, all of those places. He also runs a gig in Stoke Newington. So if you go check out Dave online, go Google him, you'll find out where that gig is. And he's got some great acts on his bills. Now, you can follow this podcast on Twitter at The Comedy Defect. You can follow me at Winter Phonander. You can also come see my live stand-up gig dates, which I'm previewing my show, which is called By the Power of Grayskull, which I've taken around the place. I'm really enjoying it, guys. The Power of Grayskull is going to be appearing at Shaftesbury Fringe, and that is at Shaston Social Club at 10:30 p.m. on the 29th of this month, which is June. So guys, go check it out there, go support it. I'm going to film it as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying the previews and I've had a lot of fun just writing the jokes for it, guys. So come down, check it out and see the work that I've been doing. You can also support this podcast by going to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast. You can donate as little or as much as you feel this podcast is worth. Those of you that do donate, thank you. Those of you that don't, hey, leave us a nice honest review. It's really easy now. Go to your phone, just, I say, have fun with it. Let yourself go. Pretend it's TripAdvisor. Just, enjoy yourself. That's all I'm going to say for this intro. This is a great episode with a very funny Mr. Dave Green for episode 62. Enjoy. Dave Green, welcome to the Comedy Defect. How are you doing, man? You all right?
I'm very good.
Thank you for getting the rocky road.
No problem.
As I said before, I had the chocolate Cadbury's fingers last night. And they were amazing, so I'm going to try this one. So
you might hear a bit of chewing on the microphone, though.
Oh, fine. It's real, right? That's a bit of atmosphere. So we're having a. So what have you been up to? Anything exciting? Or?
I had a show last night. I'm running a show over in Stoke Newington and did that. Had Tony Law and Owler Bell on, which was awesome. It was really good, man.
Amazing.
So it was a really fun night.
Was it? Did he do his 20 minutes on his name?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
amongst other stuff. Yeah,
wow.
That was so brilliant. That. So yeah, that was really cool. I opened Hours in the Middle, then Tony closing. Ribbons and Taylor Comedy. That's the name of the show.
Nice.
Monthly show. Russell Hicks headlining the next one.
What date's that?
23rd of May. Usually these two dates are a bit abnormal because of school holidays and stuff, but usually it'll be the last Wednesday of every month.
Was there a big crowd in?
Yeah, sold out, man.
Oh,
totally
mate, that's
sold
great.
out. Yeah.
Nice one.
Tony Law, isn't he? He's got like a big following.
So I did that English Comedy Brussels and I was emceeing one time. And I came back from Belgium. It was the first gig I did outside of the UK. I was like, oh my god! And then I saw Tony Law. I was like, hey Tony, get a picture. I was like, just fucking fanboyed the shit out of him. Like, and I was like, hey, get a picture. I was like, I'm a big fan, man. And he's like, yeah, it's cool.
Nice, man.
I was like, yeah. He said, yeah, he said, I'm doing that next month. Yeah, so okay, cool.
What was it? Where was it? Sorry,
English Comedy Brussels in Belgium.
Nice. Is it good?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice, man. Unfortunately, I got the issue in the stick because the World Cup was on, and fucking wasn't Belgium playing that weekend. So we had like about 30 in a 300-seater room, So I was like, oh man, it was a tough. It was fine, like it made it work, but it was just like, Dessau Chapanda was closing, Chris Martin was opening, and I think I was in the middle. You had Eric Lampart. Do you do two podcasts, or is it just the one which we were talking about before we started recording?
Just that one.
Oh man.
Yeah, which I've stopped doing that. Yeah, because.
So it was the go on Google and look at the streets and take a piss out of them and just fuck about. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of autobiographical, so it's kind of about the comics of life and important places in their life. So it's like a virtual tour of their life using Google Street View.
To remind them of things they did in their childhood and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's very like nostalgic,
cool.
Yeah. Automatically it ends up being, talking a lot about their childhood experiences. Like, and there's a lot of like, when you visit your childhood haunts, all these memories. And lots of time people are like, I don't know what I'm going to have to talk about. And as soon as you start clicking around the map, they're like, I remember this thing, like so-and-so lived here, this happened there. All the memories come flooding back, And
that's amazing. It's sort of
it's quite cool.
It does the kind of work for you. You have to ask any questions. Really, because it just it triggers them, right?
Yeah, it's nice. It's like going on a little walk, yeah. And then like there is like other chat in it. We chat about comedy, and but it's like a different way of talking. I think when you're going on a walk. Yeah. I mean,
totally.
slightly kind of different.
That's it. Just sort of just bumbling along, like, you know, there's no kind of pressure to kind of perform, really, is there?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's it, and then oh man, and then they go, oh man, then this happened here, and then that's it. Really, you can really get into some stuff, I'm sure. Yeah,
it's cool, man.
Who's your favourite person you interviewed on that?
Well, Tony Law again actually did that.
Oh,
I think
right.
that was one of the best ones. Yeah, Phil Wan was a good one as well. I think Tony's was one of the best.
You were talking about like how you felt about someone simulating your idea. Really, not necessarily ripping it off completely, but it felt
stealing,
like it, right? Stealing, right.
It's funny how it was much nicer like off air, but now I'm stole it.
Yeah. And you know, so your sort of reaction to that, what was, you know, how do you feel about it? Are you like totally pissed off about it?
I'm kind of over it, to be honest, man. When did it happen? Just over a month ago, I guess. Yeah, it's tricky because, as I said to you, I'd kind of stopped doing it anyway, and then this happened, and now it looks like I've stopped doing it because someone's nicked the idea. So we should probably explain. Yeah, I was doing the show, Dave Green's Street View show, what we just explained on YouTube, and then a very similar idea came out. Someone else was doing on radio. Very similar idea. Yeah, I'd stopped doing it anyway because I wanted to concentrate on my Edinburgh show, and then that happened, you know.
Yeah.
And lots of people are like, "Oh, you can't quit. Like, let these fuckers steal your idea." But it's like, I'd stopped anyway, and it's just a coincidence that it happened exactly the same time I stopped doing it, and they like
Took it up.
Took the idea, basically. I'm not going to carry on doing it out of like a grudge. Yeah, I mean,
that's it. Right?
I might return to it. My plan anyway, before all that happened, was to stop doing it, concentrate on my Edinburgh show, and maybe return to the idea of doing an interview show on Google Maps, but doing it as a live show. Maybe at Edinburgh. Do you know what I mean? So like a projection screen with Street View, clicking around the map of a celebrity guest.
Nice.
And then you can charge like entry and stuff and turn it into a kind of show. You
can really market it, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Is this show this year called Dave Green's Street Show, How It Was Stolen From Me, sort of thing? Is that what it is?
A few people have said that, man, but I don't think it's like that. That might be interesting for comics.
I saw your show last year, Slug. And
you came to watch it?
Yeah, it was good. I was really, you were in the wee room, right? I'm in that room this year.
I saw that actually, yeah. That's a wicked room.
Where are you?
Bar 50.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So the idea was that, last year was like a work in progress, and it's my debut this year. Well, I think in reality what happened is what I suspected would happen is that I've got excited about doing the shows. I've written so much new stuff, it'll probably be very different. Probably about 10% will be like what you saw. Because it's funny, isn't it? Because I've been doing it like 7 years now, stand-up. And so there's part of you that thinks, oh, that's like 7 years worth of material. But it's not really that. It's like 7 years worth of work. But then you want to write it in your sort of current voice, isn't it? So it ends up being... Yeah, I imagine it'll be like a whole... Which is good, man, which fills me with relief, actually, because then it's like, if I do that, then that means I can imagine writing an hour, in a year, basically, for the following year.
The momentum from that will just propel you to the next thing, sort of thing, right?
Exactly, yeah. If your first show is like 3 or 4 years worth of material, then when you have to write the next one in a year, then you're kind of screwed, right?
Yeah, that's
But if you prove to yourself you're capable of writing an hour in a year, then you can do it again.
Just keep reminding yourself, you can do it, isn't it? That's all it is. Yeah, you're like, I can still do this. I can do this. Yeah. But you're used to be a one-liner guy, right? Just more of a when I saw your show, it was lots of gags, not sectors as well. You said you were sort of moving away from that now. Is that right?
I think even that show you saw, there would be gags in there, but I think it was more. When I started out, it was like all gags. I've still got a few left over, but I imagine this year will be hardly any. It's all sort of longer bits. Yeah, I guess I was moving away from that. Shit, flown flapjack everywhere. Yeah, a lot to do with the Edinburgh system, I guess. Like the idea of like doing an hour show. Because although I don't know if I do like them anymore. But when I started out, I was saying I was really like influenced by Stephen Wright and those guys. I think even when I did really like it, I wouldn't seeing and watching an hour of it is quite hard.
Big time.
I think it's natural when you first start doing comedy, maybe to be drawn towards that kind of stuff. Because, well, not natural, but I definitely was because. You're thinking, right, how does this work? How does this comedy thing work? And those guys who do one-liners are so like such like a mechanical approach.
Yeah.
And if you're approaching it with that kind of mind, you're like maybe drawn to it because you're, that's what a joke is. This kind of how to do a joke.
Yeah.
How can I do that? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whereas like now I've totally changed my. I don't know. I guess like weirdly when I got into comedy, I wasn't like a fan of comedy really. Do you know what I mean? I liked it as much as the next guy, but I wasn't like... Yeah. Some people are like big fans, do you know what I mean, and stuff. Yeah. But I was more like, I'm going to start doing comedy, let's look at some comedians.
Totally. No, I totally get you.
Which isn't that unusual, actually, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people because they say, oh yeah, I liked it since I was a fetus. And like, okay, right, fine, fair enough. But I just got into it later, and then kind of...
I'm not much of a fan of anything, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like that is unusual, maybe. I feel like... I'm that guy where people be talking about like a film and I go, what? And they go, what, you've never seen, or you've never read, or you've... Music, I guess I'm better at music.
Right.
I guess music I'm more knowledgeable about. But even then, it's like only old music. Up until like the 70s or something.
Right, okay, yeah. That's good. You saved your obsession for comedy, which is... I guess you didn't burn yourself out, didn't it? I thought that, you just sort of waste all that kind of energy and adrenaline, like, oh man, this new thing, like collecting elephants or something like that.
Yeah.
I did that when I was a kid. I collected elephants.
Collecting elephants?
Yeah, that was it. But I don't do that anymore.
Right, soft toys.
Yeah, no, like the elephant statues. I don't know why.
See, I don't know what it is. I told you, I don't know.
Right? An elephant's got a long trunk, But why are you more gag based now, or are you doing stories, or what are you doing? What's the name of your show, man? What is the name of your show?
Melt. Dave Green, Melt.
Right. A lot of
four-letter
word.
Post is just a picture of my face melting.
Right.
Vaguely, it's not really about anything, but vaguely thematically, I guess if it was about anything, about me kind of being self-conscious and anxious, although I wouldn't really... The word anxiety doesn't feature in the show at all. It's more just like that's what my material is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I have a bit of a pet peeve for shows that sort of talk about mental illness in a really earnest way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely, yeah.
Because to me, it's like that. It's like, because I guess I prefer like the American guys, and to me, it's like. So I was just saying then. A better way to explain what I was saying is, my show isn't about anxiety. That was a Freudian slip because my phone makes me so anxious.
Right.
In the same way, like if you watch Bill Burr, right, you wouldn't say like, oh, this is a show about anger issues, and then like 2/3 of the way through he stops and goes like, oh, I've got anger management problems. It's like. Show, don't tell. Do you know what I mean? It's that's totally. His act. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was in two minds about whether to get PR this year, and I ended up not getting it because I chatted to a few people, and they almost like told me not to get. They were like literally the PR people were like, yeah, it's I don't know, maybe they just thought my act was shit, but they were saying what I kind of thought anyway because there's no angle to the show. Basically, in Edinburgh, it's going to sound like I'm like arrogant or something, which isn't what I mean. But the point, if you're just doing like a funny show, that PR-wise, that means nothing. And I get it because it's not a story going, this guy's really funny. The story is going like, this happened to this guy, or you know what I mean. Edinburgh's like, it's like the X Factor with the stories where it's like, oh, his mum died of cancer or something. Like that's there's nothing to do with the singing. Do you know what I'm saying? And I get it, man. So like, there's no angle to the show, so PR-wise. But just come and watch it. It'll be fun.
But there's no...
Bar 50, 6 p.m.
6 p.m, right. I'll come see that. I'm free. My show's at 2:45 in the wheat room. I know you're saying about the angle thing, because there's no trigger for anyone. Everyone in Edinburgh wants a trigger, so people go, oh yeah, I totally feel that too, and then you want an applause, and then people cry at the end. Which I get it. It's
to do with PR. It's to do with how you sell the show, isn't it? Which I get, because there's so much competition. It's like, you need some sort of hook, right? Yeah, but you don't want to artificially put it there. Well, that's how I feel anyway. I don't want to
Then you're just like being fucking cynical about whatever it is you're trying to show or to highlight. You're kind of like, well, yeah, I'm using this as a fucking like some people use their race as like as a crowbar to kind of go look so this is, and then they might not even have been through any of that stuff, but they got, okay, this is what I can, this is the angle I can use to the thin end of the wedge to fucking chisel my way to where I need to be. But yeah, like same with like, I mean, I'm the same, man. Like last year I did my show was a narrative show, and I did it for the full run.
You tell me it's all about mental health issues.
No, it wasn't. Well, it kind of in a way, but
all comedy is. That's kind of the point I was making. It's always about it. You've
always got an issue, haven't you? You've got an axe to grind that you're never going to heal. But you think, oh no, then I realise that I can never change, and that's what it is. I said to Luke Stephen last night. I said, like, every show is about, I realise I'm like this, and then this is why I'm like this, and then I realised I was like this, and at the end I realised I couldn't change it, and then...
That's exactly what my show is. Is that like a real... Oh man, I thought I'd invented that.
No, that's the same, but it's true though, right?
That is what my show is, yeah.
But the thing is, you realise it, and then just return to the natural state of just being you.
That's exactly the format of my show.
Acceptance. There's no real evolution, if you like.
Because you can't evolve in stand-up. That's the point. You can't... It's not like a film where the character can change before you're out. You can't be at the end of the stand-up show and then go like, and now I'm a different person. Because you're not. You're not.
Totally. You're already formed. You're fully formed, aren't you?
That's weird, isn't it? It's quite... Stand-up is quite limited in that way. It's not limited, it's just different. Yeah, you can't tell a story in the same way you could in a book.
That's it.
So I'm just burping after all that flapjack I ate.
I haven't tried the flapjack yet.
It's fucking delicious.
Maybe I'll save till after, because if it's having that effect on you, it's going to really fuck me up big time.
No, I eat very fast though, especially when I'm nervous.
Yeah.
That's the point. Do you Do you eat like before a gig?
I used to have a real thing about not eating because I thought it would slow me down. And so, but then I was like, now I'm like, do you know what? I talk real quickly anyway, so I think I need to be maybe, I'm in two minds, man. It depends on how I feel. I'm either one or the other. It's because if I eat, sometimes I feel strong. And but sometimes I feel like I'm weak, that's it. And then just sort of like slow and just like, but it depends on what it is I'm eating, I guess. Maybe we should just start having those gel packs, just like rather than sort of
protein shake.
Yeah, that's it. You feel like jacked and pumped like before you go on. Chips and stuff. I think I like to eat after, like so it's like a reward for me. Like you're like, done well, and then like if I
have some chips.
That's nice bag of.
I always do that when I'm gigging or like staying home away, like when I'm not with the girlfriend, like staying somewhere. I think like, what can I do to like, because I'm like such a square. I don't do drugs or anything really, so I just get loads of fried chicken. Like
that's it.
No, do you know what I mean? Because I'm in a hotel room and I'm like, I can do anything. But I'm like, Dave, you don't like doing anything. Just get some chicken. Do
you just get like? do you go for like just plain?
But it's how you say that weird like adrenaline celebration after the show. You're like, and then you're just
to the max.
And you're just like, I feel horrible.
Yeah, that's it. You need something to make it feel horrible, don't you? Because otherwise you're just feeling too good. Something to bring you down.
Like eating like takeaway fried chicken in my own house feels wrong. Do you know what I mean?
It's a downer though, isn't it? I mean that kind of stuff. It's like you're just slowing your heart down with all that fat.
Yeah,
you're like all that. Would you get the spicy chicken wings? Like 12 for £2 or something ridiculous like that.
Just wherever they go.
It's great. It's dirty. I love it. That's a celebratory though, right? Do you get the chicken if you haven't done well as well?
Yeah, well, it's both ways. It's a celebration or a punishment. But the point is, what I was going to say as well, though, is I always, because lots of comics don't eat
meat.
Like, if they're feeling stressed before a show, they won't eat, right? Like, they can't eat because they're like, not necessarily stressed, but like, you got that adrenaline before the show.
Yeah.
But I like, if there's a green room with food in it, when I'm nervous, I eat more, is the point. If there's a green room with food, man, it's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Because the food's, the best of times, if there's food there, I can't not eat, and I'm just like,
put it in the face.
These days, I'm much healthier than I have been, actually, but yeah, it's hard. I can't savour.
Yeah,
people who savour.
Like nibble.
This conversation's weird, because you can't see this at home, but there's a full flapjack and a full Rocky Road in front of me. And I'm talking about not being able to savour. Now I feel like I have to eat them so I'm true to my word.
We can cut that out. If you must eat it, we can cut that out.
I didn't need to mention it.
They're still there. They're still there.
Let's go.
I'll let them know.
Check back in every 10 minutes.
Flapjack update.
Could be a new feature.
Yeah, sure. Never know. Why not, man? We'll go with it. But eat with varying different foods, like spaghetti one day, just to make it more difficult.
That'd be weird, isn't it? Like this, I feel like this is quite nice. Like a tea meat. I don't know what I'm talking about. I feel it's like we're having a cup of tea and having a flapjack. But imagine if you came over and did a podcast and I went, I've cooked a big bowl of spaghetti. Yeah. That'd be weird, man. If we were sharing a bowl of spaghetti.
Oh, the noise as well.
That'd be a weird podcast. Yeah, like snack.
We're sharing it, so that's
exactly.
like the lady in the tramp.
Exactly. Just spaghetti. Play havoc with your audio there.
I don't know what that podcast would be called then. It has to be called something else because they're like, well, I don't know what's going on in this podcast now. I thought it was about comedy, but it doesn't sound like it's about
Brothers,
comedy.
The Magnificent Spaghetti Brothers.
That's it.
And then we just talk about flapjack.
When did you start comedy then?
About 7 years ago.
Where's your first gig?
Oh, Up the Creek. I did one of those famous comedy courses.
Oh, yeah.
I did one with Harry Dentford, and then the final end of course show thing was at Up the Creek.
So I remember seeing you at Up the Creek for the first time.
Really?
And that was when they did the 10-minute spots.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like all set up differently. And
the old room.
Yeah. And I think it was Masood was emceeing.
Oh, okay.
And
Masood Milas.
And Masood Milas was emceeing. And I was like, it was a long old night, though, wasn't it? To ever like about 10, 12 acts to 10 minutes. But I remember seeing you there. But it was great. I really enjoyed your stuff, man. That was your first gig, and that was a great gig, right? Was there everyone there? Bring all your family, all the relatives, and it's like the warmest gig in the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How's the next gig?
I think the next one, if I remember correctly, was another one through Harry Dentford that he was organising. The guy who was running the course, and it was not awful, but it was considerably less comfortable than the first one. And then I think maybe the third or fourth one I totally bombed. I think I did that party piece gig.
Oh yeah.
There's hardly anyone there. And my girlfriend was there and I totally bombed. And I remember saying, I think she said recently, she was like, I think she feels weirdly like protected when she's watching me. And she was like, at the beginning I was like really scared, but then when I saw him totally bombed and he didn't care. I was like, oh, that's all right, he doesn't care.
That's good.
I like to think as nice as I get the projection, I didn't care, but
Yeah.
I obviously totally did care. Yeah, the first time you bombed was
Yeah.
Actually, no, did I care? I think I've got an all right attitude towards bombing. I think I always do see it as like, sounds corny, doesn't it? But I do see it as like a learning process. You do it like you're like, it's weirdly exhilarating in a way. You know when you totally die?
A good death.
It is weirdly,
Good death,
it actually
right?
is weirdly exhilarating.
Yeah. You're like fucking, you're running towards it going, look, I've done everything I can do, man. There's nothing else I can do. And it's not always you though, right? It isn't always you. Sometimes
it's
definitely...
It's a combination of things, isn't it? But I think that like totally bombing is more exhilarating and less painful than just like a lackluster nothing like slightly worse than mediocre gig. Do you know what I mean? Mediocre one's alright, but like one where you're like, it's not even like you didn't even die enough to call it a death, but it was just quite shit. They're probably worse than totally bombing, because if you totally bomb, it's like there's some weird thing. It's like, because that stand-up is all about what makes it thrilling as an act, and also for the audience, I think, is that it's almost like that total horrible, awkward feeling of the comedian bombing. It's like such a horrible thing. Just trying to avoid that. Do you know what I mean? It's what makes it exhilarating. Do you know what I mean? It's like a tightrope walk, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, and then when it happens, you're like, that's what I'm trying to avoid happening every single time I go out, and it's not actually that bad.
Is there any moment of like when that's happening that you kind of go, oh, I'll pull out, I'll do this or I'll do that, or do you just turn into it and drive the fuck into the wall?
I just walk off stage.
Do you really?
No. I don't know, man. Well, that's what I mean, how it's kind of exhilarating. You're just like, this stuff's fun. I know it's funny. It works other times. And just fucking plough through it.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? Once you know you're going to get nothing, you're just like...
Pressure's off then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's
like,
kind of what I mean, man.
I mean, I remember...
I'm making it sound like I'm too much of an expert on bombing now. Dave's masterclass.
No, but you know, that's the thing. That comes with experience, isn't it? Because you've done so many gigs, you've got to fucking have like a percentage, whatever it is, of bombing. So you go, I know how to deal with it. And that confidence you have from the good gigs, go, no, I'm definitely right. You are fucking wrong. And maybe the MC hasn't done well, or something has happened, or they're just a pack of dicks. You know, sometimes you can get an audience. They're just like, no. No, this is totally wrong. No, this is not what we came to see. Where's the theatre? Sometimes if you're opening and the MC hasn't done their job, you're just going to walk in to the firing squad, really, aren't you? You're going, all right, okay, the next act is going to do great because they'll be propped up by my just still bleeding corpse. You know
Yeah.
And the next act doesn't appreciate that at all. They just go, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, so much comes into play, man. And I'm trying to tell out people that, like, that gig I'm running where people are like, oh, this guy didn't do well. And it's like, do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm booking people who I like, so it's like... And it's weird, isn't it? Because I think if the first time you see someone, they totally bomb, even as comics, knowing all those things you were talking about, those dynamics of all the things, even we forget that. Like, if the first time you see someone, they totally bomb, it's very hard to, like, forget that memory of them being shit.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, equally, if the first time you see someone, they smash it, in your head, they're always good. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Even if you like their material and you can see through the crowd's reaction, like, first impressions are so important. Do you know what I mean? And we, even being comics, it's hard to stay totally conscious of that. So, sort of, general public and promoters or whatever, kind of a scary thought, really, how important first impressions are. They're so important.
Absolutely. Start strong. And then hopefully, you know, you'll allow a bit of a lull sometimes, and then hopefully finish strong as well. With the set, isn't it? You know, any interaction, like, fuck man, just gotta hit the nail on the head straight away, and not kind of like let yourself down. You let everyone down. I'm just like going through all the, you know, the kind of interactions with promoters and fucking, you know, and people in the last, like, you know, 7-8 years of me doing this as well. I'm like, it's just like, you have to, you know, when you're good enough, right? You go, right, I know I'm good enough. I know I'll get laughs. I know I'm bookable, but then you go, okay, I'm also, you know, you're a nice person, and then you have to kind of not fake it, but there's other people out there who go, do you know what? They go, I'm fucking amazing. And if at the beginning they were shit and they're still assholes, they still think they're going to get booked, but it doesn't work that way because everyone wants to work with people who are nice, don't they? Because otherwise you're like, okay, great, you're amazing, but we don't fucking work with you because you're hard work. You know, I don't want to be in a room or a car share or whatever the fuck it's going to be. So these things are all a factor. I remember doing one podcast with a guy, and it was like, he was younger than me, like a fair bit. It's not hard, to be fair. Interviewer said, "What's the most important thing about being a comic?" I said, "Don't be a dick." That's what I said. And this other guy who was younger said, "Put his hand on my leg." I said, "No, gotta be funny." And I was like, "Oh." He was just proving my point.
It's kind of a given, right? Yeah.
Totally. It's a whole, isn't it? It's not just one thing. It's like, people, as you said, the first impressions are great, but people sometimes give you leeway when they've been in it long enough. They don't just see that thing. They got to be funny from the off, because that's the great.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Once you've established yourself, you're allowed to bomb. And in fact, we all know some of the best acts bomb a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What makes them prone to bombing is what makes them fantastic when it works. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you can just be always middle ground and just always do well. It's probably not that interesting.
I don't know. I think if you're consistent, then you're incredibly bookable.
That is also good. Yeah, but do you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about like a transcendent level of like.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like the best kind.
Yeah. Is there anything you crack open and go, okay, here's the tin that I open in my head of gags that I need to crack open if it's not going well? You just go, do you know what? These some new stuff. I'm just going to fucking play.
I think I more do that. I'm more likely to like go to some new stuff because I think that is, if they totally hate you, I think you're like, you can either address how it's going, which isn't always great, but or at least if you're doing new stuff, at least it's like fresh to you and exciting, and it might. Do you know what I mean? And they usually pick up on that. Do you know what I mean? If you're bombing, you may as well. And
you get something out of it too, right?
I'm not saying that's necessarily like I wouldn't give that as advice to anyone. Not like anyone's asking my advice anyway, but that's what I do sometimes. Chuck, do some new stuff, do you know? Because you may as well. Some idea that's just fresh in your head, kind of thing.
You're like, right, okay, yeah, because you're totally free then to do anything.
If you want. I'm talking about if they're totally hating you,
stonewalling you. Yourself. You used to IBS a few years. Not now, probably, because you're like fucking doing 7 years. So you're like, all right, fuck it. I don't see the hate in anyone's eyes anymore. You just like you take that hate and turn it to joy, right? You're like, finally, an emotion against me, brilliant. Yeah. Finally, they've totally focused on me. Something. That's it.
Well, Stuart Lee says that thing, doesn't he? About, I think he was on the WTF podcast. He brought that up, and I've heard Mark Maron bring it up subsequently, saying like how Stuart Lee would feel empathy for an audience, like if they were hating it, he'd just feel like, now he's got kids and stuff. He'd be like, those people have come out and got a babysitter for this and they hate me. And he's just like, and he framed it to himself like, they've just made the wrong entertainment choice. This just wasn't for them. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible. I don't know how true that is to how he actually felt. I don't know, but if he does feel like that, that's quite a impressive position to be able to take. Do you know what I mean? To remove yourself from it in that way. Yeah. Just feel sorry for him. Sorry, you don't like me.
I'm still not giving your money back, but fuck it. And how many fringe shows have you done now?
So this will be the first debut hour, but the first like proper show. But I've been up there like 5 times, I think. Last year I did a work in progress, and then I've done lots of like those industry showcase things like CKP, AAA, and all that. I've been building up like very slow. I think because I started off as a one-liner guy, it's taken me a while to kind of get the show together, but now I'm fucking working an hour is really exciting, man. I feel like it's taken shape, and it's a totally different thing writing structuring an hour like that. And it's actually really fun, man. I'm finding it way more fun than I thought I would, because it's like the same mechanics that go into like a single bit, but just like your scope's just fucking widened out, right? And you're thinking, how does that relate to that? And it's really fun actually.
And you've got like callbacks within it. Is there sort of like there's no loose narrative, just melt, right?
To be honest, I just chose a very, just kept the title like vague, so it could be about anything. But I guess the vague thing is like, it's about lots of objects. There's lots of stories about objects in the show. It's tricky, isn't it? Because you have to choose a title ages before it's clear what it's about. But I could have made it like a story about me told through like 5 objects or something, because there seems to be all these interlinking stories about me. Well, there's a bit where I get like caught out with some milk. God, it sounds so lame like describing it. There's a story about some milk. This is what the show is about. A story about some milk. There's a story about a chair. There's a story about a fan heater. There's a story about a jumper. They're all like about objects.
Cool.
And like losing them and like giving them away, and then what? I don't really know. What the fuck's it about? I don't know.
Cool. That's great. Sounds fun, man. Just trying to link those things together. Very surreal.
Yeah, it kind of is surreal, but it's kind of, that's the biggest for me. Like personally, when I started being able to write longer bits, the breakthrough for me was just like although I used to be really, really surreal, now it's still not based in fact, but there's stories you could almost imagine happening. But they're all totally made up. They're all, none of it's like true.
Great.
But it's like, it sounds corny, but it's all like, although it's stuff that didn't actually happen, it's based on how I would react in that situation, you know? Which I've heard other people say before. And it's true, man. It's like no one cares if the story actually happened. Yeah. All they care about is if the person experiencing it feels like a real person. You know what I mean? And they can relate to the... Yeah. So that's how I think of my writing now. I almost think of it like a sort of sitcom character. Well, I think of myself as a separate character, and what would he do in this situation, in that situation? And kind of think about it like that.
Do you write sitcoms as well? Or is there stuff that you can...
I don't know. I've tried like writing a few sketches and stuff. But this one I do. I like writing an hour. There's lots of stuff where I could... imagine, almost when I'm writing, although it's for stand-up, I do almost imagine it like a sitcom episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You get into the characters.
Some of it's a bit like... Well, I think about when I'm writing like a Seinfeld episode or something. You know the way... That's what I'm saying in structure in the show, when it's like... You know in a brilliant Seinfeld episode where it all like wraps up at the end? Ideally, I'd want it to be like that. Whether it will be or not, I don't know. But I'm trying to sort of think about it like that. Yeah. You know, all the strands get nicely wrapped up at the end.
Yeah, nice. Tied up. Yeah, that's it. Callbacks and everything.
Yeah.
And then I realised I couldn't change.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously that happens.
The pain with objects, is it? Or like, you know, like your anxiety with objects?
Kind of, yeah, I guess so. But it's all it's how I relate to this, like the fan here thing. It's like there's a bit where I'm going on a date and I get worried about leaving this electric heater on, and I think, fuck it, I'll take it with me. And then like I've got it with me, and then the girl likes it or whatever because I heat her up. And stuff. I don't know. It sounds weird, like talking about bits, but yeah. So for some reason, at some point, I don't think you really know what it's about. Is it you write all the bits and then you're like, fuck, there's a few themes like coming out of it. But that's just something I noticed the other day. I was like, the whole show's about object. It's like really autistic or something. There's no people in it. It's all just things.
Yeah. How do you relate to things? And
especially there's hardly any people in the whole thing. My barber's in there. I'll talk about my barber a bit. Yeah. But even then, it's because I'm an excuse to tell a story about a hat. Yeah. But there is seriously. My girlfriend features in it a little bit. She's like the only person I interact with in day-to-day life.
Interact with more objects before your girlfriend or less?
What, in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
I don't fucking know. You're always interacting with objects, aren't you? Yeah,
I guess so. I mean,
I'm holding a mug right now.
It's true. I guess so. But I mean, there's interacting and there's interacting. I mean, there's talking to the objects as well, isn't there? You know, and actually like having full-blown conversations with them too, isn't there?
Yeah. They're not. I'm not like personifying them though. I think it's more like because there's another story in the show where I take a jumper to the. It's mainly fear. Fear is that was partly the melt title as well because melting's like. Yeah, it's very self-conscious. Yeah, I guess like fear. Yeah, paranoia. Fear. Yeah. That's definitely like my on-stage persona is mainly that.
Just constantly disturbed by things. Why is that the chair's looking at me or whatever fucking weird shit like that? Yeah.
Exactly.
As one of the jobs I used to do. I remember there was like a chair with an office chair, you know, with one of the arms up like this. And it looked like it was saluting me.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's crazy. That's scary, man.
You know, it was like, you know, but it was like totally facing me. I was like, is that me or is the fucking chair trying to communicate?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that chair.
Yeah, that's it. I want to fucking sit in it. Fucking sit in it and turn your back on that chair. Don't fucking do that. It's sneaking up behind you, isn't it? Come sit on my lap. Oh, yeah.
That'd be creepy at night. Do you ever like get that thing where you wake up in the night and it looks like there's someone standing there or there's a pile of clothes that looks like a person? That's scary, man. I haven't had that in a while.
I think they've got together.
Hypnagogic images, I believe they call it. Because your brain is still kind of asleep, right? But your eyes are looking at the real room, and it kind of it's kind of half dream, half awake. That's kind of scary.
Sort of morphing stuff together.
That shit's terrifying.
So Melt's the name of the show, right? And then like bar 50 at 6.
Yeah.
Full hour, and so you couldn't get PR.
I feel like I'm massively underselling it. I'm not.
No, you'll get people in it.
I'm just selling it as a show.
Sorry, me just reiterating that as well. So, Dave, you couldn't get PR for your show.
It's not that I couldn't get them. That's we mutually decided because I couldn't see the point in it, and then people were like telling me, "No, you've got to do it." And I thought even before I spoke to them, I was like, I don't know how useful it will be for me if there isn't an angle to sell. Do you know what I mean? And after speaking to them, everyone I chatted to was really nice and very candid, and they were like, maybe said a similar thing. I am working with a PR actually, but only on like a low level. So like with a press release and shit like that. I think it would just be a funny show, man.
Objects, right? IKEA do a lot of objects.
Yeah.
Get sponsored
Sponsorship from
IKEA to, you never know. It could be an angle. Could be an angle. Like, fuck it, are you afraid of objects? I'm afraid of IKEA furniture. Fuck it, they're everywhere. If every IKEA furniture ever becomes sentient, we're fucked. This was good.
Watch out. I'm having some more Rocky Road.
Yeah,
just
go
to
for
keep
it.
you updated.
That's it. It's good. It's still a flapjack there and half a Rocky Road. You did your first gig in the Up the Creek, and do you need competitions and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. Do you want to know my
tell me, man. Tell me. I want to know. I'm not saying. So I'm not asking.
I did all right in the competitions.
Yeah.
Because here's an interesting story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like, so because I did loads of one-liners at the beginning, because that's the way, I don't know, I felt comfortable taking my early steps within comedy.
Yeah.
Was in one-liners. That's a huge advantage early on, because you're always doing 5-minute spots, right? And then all the competitions are 5 minutes. So if you've got like a sweet 5 minutes of solid jokes that you've honed, you'll do very well, and that's an advantage early on. And then you have these other people that are more inclined through their natural disposition to be like a more storytelling type of comic. Those guys will struggle in the competitions, but whereas I'm doing my first hour after 7 years, if you're more a storyteller type guy, you might do your first hour after 2 or 3 years, because you're like, that's what you're inclined to do. Oh, I can do an hour because I tell stories.
Baggy ass stories.
And then, do you know what I mean? So then, like 7 years down the line, they've already done like 5 hours. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, and ultimately, I don't know what's better or worse. I think it's probably better to be a storytelling guy, because you ultimately, what's the goal is to tour your show, right? So they just start doing that early. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like doing 5 minutes of one-liners is only really useful
competitions
at the beginning. But I definitely remember like I was comfortable doing 5 minutes for ages. I remember people like really early on going, oh, I'm going to do 10 minutes and they'd change. I remember that. So I remember I would just be like, have 5 minutes, however many jokes there is, I don't know, 30 jokes, something. It was Vegas. Isn't it? If there was one that wasn't like good enough, or I'd just wait till I had a better joke and put it in there. And then it's like, well, so the 5 minutes, I'd just be perfecting the 5 minutes. Whereas other people would like do 5 minutes. They've been doing comedy for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they're doing, I'm doing my new 5 tonight. And it's like, why are you doing the new 5? You haven't even honed the other 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, like, any approach is valid earlier on, but I just remember for me thinking, well, why would you do that? You haven't even...
You perfected that.
You know, it's just a different way of doing it, and they're the people that probably do a more long-form base of show, and you'll be doing hours way quicker that way. But it definitely is interesting, man. I've chatted to other people about this, and it's definitely like, I think people fall into those two kind of camps. You're more sort of joke-based and more...
storytelling sort of side. I mean, I did the same sort of thing. I had to start off with stories, really fucking baggy stories with fucking hardly any punchlines in whatsoever. And then I went, and then went to kind of like one-liners, and then went to sort of a hybrid of the two. You can hang the gangs, you can find the gangs within the story. And then it was like, okay, and then and then I just went sort of some weird shit. Then and then it's like, no, I'm not doing the weird shit anymore because the weird shit won't get me booked anyway. And then went back. Now I've just gone back to sort of more. Storytelling, but with just really short fucking gag based stuff, and that's what I like. Just because I just want to put as many punchlines there as possible. It's like you watch someone like Dylan Moran, and like it's still storytelling, but just fucking there's just so many punchlines in his like vignettes, like because they're all just like they're all looked at them as separate. They're just separate jokes in any place really, but just well crafted. And as you said, they're all basically gag one-liners, and like they're just stacked in the right order and go, no, that doesn't fit there, it goes here, because the concert of the whole thing together, going, no, because that won't work because they don't have the information from that one-liner. It's still funny here, but it will work just before it, and that's the thing. It's just like that kind of that sort of seeing the Matrix, you start to kind of put it together, especially when you're.
I think when people I think essentially it doesn't matter what order you learn the elements of the craft in. Do you know what I mean? You'll end up, because if you know how to write jokes, then once you start doing stories, then that'll automatically seep in. I think when you get really, really good, it all just becomes sort of second nature. Do you know what I mean? If you apply that discipline in the early years, then that kind of seeps in, and then that just sort of becomes part of you.
Absolutely. No,
and then. Do you know what I mean? And then it's more sort of automatic, and then eventually you just sort of... And that's my fear. Like that's certainly how it appears, man, when you watch Louis or something like that. It just
flows.
Fucking flows. But I think he got there through years and years of like learning the mechanics of it. Do you know what I mean? And you can't but you can't jump straight to like, oh, I'm just going to...
Yeah, I'm just going to do comedy.
I think
no one wants to see that, do they?
Yeah.
No one really wants yourself because I mean, when I heard that, like, because I did a few like courses at the beginning, it's like, oh, this will speed me up to kind of get me better. It doesn't. It totally fucking confused me.
It is weird, because it is useful advice. Be yourself, but then you have to. And as I said, I think you can take the steps along the path in different orders. But there are certain things you need to fucking learn before that. Yeah, that people are right when they say that it is the goal, but you definitely can't just jump straight to that.
Yeah, because you go. Too far.
I don't think
you go too far.
Or you can jump straight to that, but it might look shit for a while until you learn the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. Yeah, but there's definitely other stuff you need to learn.
That's it. Because like I think sometimes you go, oh, just be yourself, and then you go too far in, and you go, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I don't really want to hear that. But this voice is in my head outside because no one wants to fucking agree with that because we know that that's the truth. But no, let's not fucking laugh at that because that's just too fucking hard to deal with.
Because you haven't learned to articulate.
Yeah, that's it.
Funnily enough,
you're using a fucking hammer when you should just be using a fucking little using a hammer. Yeah, you should be using a sledgehammer. We should be. A screwdriver works too because it's totally the wrong fucking tool, right? Yeah, that's it. Why did you kind of go right? Fuck, I'm going to do comedy. Why did you go kick into it?
I tell you what, man, it was not. Basically, I went to art school originally, and then I was making kind of experimental arty films that were always a bit funny. And after uni, I tried to pursue being an artist a little bit.
In what?
But it was not.
Was it like painting?
No, like video installations and stuff like that. But it wasn't. I really loved doing an art degree. It was amazing, man. Just time 3 years just to do whatever you could do whatever the fuck you want, basically.
Was it fine art?
Yeah, it's fine art.
Man.
Well, they changed the name to contemporary art studies, which is more like
where was that?
Descriptive of what it is up in Sheffield.
Sheffield, right?
But man, I've got still to this day I've got hang-ups about it because obviously I'm a creative person. I was about to say, but I guess I am. There's another word to say. Yeah, I like making stuff. So in a way, I guess that is kind of artistic. And so it was a great time doing 3 years of you can just do whatever the fuck you want to make a fucking sculpture, draw this one day. But I mainly did videos, weird videos, and you can just do whatever you want in the edit suite, take out cameras, make films and shit. Mm-hmm. Free to do whatever the fuck you wanted. And it was really cool. And I enjoyed that, so I thought I was I'll be an artist. After uni, I had some mates that were running galleries and stuff, and I kind of pursued it for a time. That world was not for me at all. But I've still got hang-ups about it because I thought I took myself so seriously, which is weird because it wasn't for me anyway. So now I still have some strong opinions based on the art world, but mainly just based on my bitterness that they rejected me. But they didn't. It was that I wasn't meant to do that anyway. I think I was drawn to comedy because it's the exact opposite of art. Because comedy, people tell you with laughter whether it's good or not, and you get immediate feedback. And I think art, more than any other discipline, I'm talking about contemporary fine art here, is no one knows what the fuck is good. No one has a fucking clue what's good. So it is it's a cliche, but it's so prone to people bullshitting their way to the top because no one has a fucking clue what's good. And I was awful. I was always been awful at that, at selling myself. And in art, you have to convince the right people that what you're doing is worthwhile. And then if you do that, then everyone will think it's worthwhile. But there's no fucking proof or it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas comedy is the exact opposite. I basically seeked out a creative realm where you can be a total social retard. But if you're able to do the thing, you'll progress. Do you know what I mean? Because you can turn up to a gig, be an awkward guy, and be a bit shy and whatever, and it doesn't matter. But then you smash the gig. Mm-hmm. So it's great. But do you know what I mean? But in art, it's not like that at all. It's in comedy, you get somebody who's bullshitting. Do you know what I mean? Saying they're fucking brilliant. But if you get up and you're shit, you're shit.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? It's truthful.
Proof is in the pudding, right?
Whereas I think I heard someone else say this, and it's not just related to art, it's related to comedy is not a meritocracy at all. There's more of a meritocracy than almost any other creative realm, I think, for those reasons I've just said. Because you can imagine there's no phenomenally good comedians who are nowhere in their career. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm. There's people who are underappreciated, of course. Mm. But I think it's very hard to be exceptionally good comedian and have no one know who you are. Whereas you could definitely be an exceptionally good painter and have no one know who you are.
Yeah.
or musician. Or do you know what I mean? But comedy, you get good in front of people.
Yeah.
So partly, I like saying this because I need to believe it. But there is some truth, and it is a bit of a romantic way of looking at it, but there is some truth in what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whereas art to me seemed like, again, it's a cliche, it's not what you know but who you know. That world is so like that. It's ridiculous and no one knows it. I'm too needy to like... I did exhibitions, right, and you put on the show and people would come and you're like, well, how do I know if it's good? People are looking at it and they're telling me it's good. But is it actually? I don't fucking know. But a gig, you do a gig and they laugh and they tell you it's good, even despite themselves. Do you know what I mean? Even like, it's automatic. It was just fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
there's nothing else like that feedback. No one knows.
I did my degree in digital media.
Yeah.
And I used to fucking hate you guys.
Did
you get it first? Did you get it first?
I got 2-1, I think.
Oh, fuck. Do you know what, right? I was so pissed off, man, because all the people I did my degree in Wolverhampton, right? I see all you fucking guys coming in, they just fucking, they wouldn't do anything. They do nothing. Yeah. They just walk in, and I did fine art in my first year, because you could do any fucking module, right? Yeah. And I was like, exactly. I was like, everyone's fucking bullshit, man. The guy that was teaching the course was like loved Elvis, right? Had a big fucking Elvis ring and a big fucking Elvis quiff. I was like, okay, this dude looks quite interesting, right? But everything I would do, he'd be like, look, come on, you know, think about this, you know. And gave us an assignment to do, and I was like, right, okay, fuck this, right? I don't know what the fuck this guy wants me to talk about this project that I've done. I just set up the camera, filmed it, just press record, and then you got to, like, in a situation, it wasn't even set up, just like, there you go, it could have been facing a wall. But even if
weirdly, I did a film that was like that.
But if you bullshit enough about it, right, and you have that, just talk in your like description of whatever it is you're doing, and the reason for it, you're fucking getting A. And I was like, right, okay, fuck, I couldn't. I was so stressed trying to fucking.
Yeah, it's a lot about the theory. Yeah, that's the stuff that I kind of ignore. I like making stuff, and I didn't really know. I didn't really study other artists or like it. That was the problem. Yeah, I was just kind of doing my own weird thing, but I was definitely like. That's the weird thing about it, is it's very like, I think people who are in that world, it's all about like the history and the theory and how it relates to other people. I was all a bit like, just kind of ignored that and did my own thing. It definitely like angers people. But I don't know, it's weird, man, because I'm dissing it, but art school itself was fucking brilliant. And it taught me just that atmosphere to do whatever the fuck you want and like make stuff was brilliant, actually. But what I'm saying, what I was doing was brilliant, but everyone else.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
But I do think your ego, that's what made me so bitter about it, because your ego does get carried away with yourself. And if you've got like a fragile comedian's ego, in that world when I'm saying where you're not getting validation and no one knows what's good, the insecure part of yourself really pumps up your ego and you think, I'm doing brilliant, because it has to be, because no one's telling you if it is brilliant or not. Do you know what I mean? Totally. So I was so like, you probably would have hated me. I was, not outwardly, but inwardly, I thought I was so like fucking brilliant. Yeah. And I think some of the stuff I made was good, but the point is, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's so like conflicted. And even now, I know, like, if I meet artists now, I immediately like hate them. It's so weird. They can be like the nicest guy ever because I've got so many hang-ups about it. And I know it's me. It's nothing like, because of course we're bullshitting about the world, but of course there's good stuff that comes out of it. It's not much, but there are. There are people making good stuff that is cool. But like a lot of it, who fucking knows? Could be anything. But no one knows what's good.
It's all subjective, right? That's the thing.
But then it gets more complicated than that, because what I was saying about comedy, how it's brilliant that if you get the laughs, you're great. If you don't, you're not. Which isn't true. For the reasons I was saying before, that some of the best people I guess some of the best stuff does exist in that space. I guess what art is trying to get to, where it is like hard. Do you know what I mean? And like I was saying before, how some of the best comics like bomb sometimes because what they're doing is like not that accessible. Do you know what I mean? There is a truth in that. So ignore everything I said for the last 20 minutes. Backtrack myself. No, do you get what I'm trying to get at here?
No, I know what you mean.
It's not as, after you've been doing comedy a while, it's not as simplistic as like, this is good, this is, I don't know. Yeah, it's not all about, you transcend and you realise it's actually not all about getting the laughs, weirdly.
Yeah. There's more of a point behind it sort of thing, you mean, or some sort of artistic sort of element, or they're trying to do something that hasn't been done before. They're trying to push
exactly. Trying
to do something different. But hopefully, ultimately, it is fucking funny at the end. Right?
Of course.
Rather than just self-indulgent fucking.
Of course.
Circle jerk. Fucking they go, oh look what you're trying to do there.
I didn't
quite make it, but it was a good effort.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I don't know if I quite articulate properly what I was trying to say, but
you're saying that there's more of a instant.
If it was
feedback.
just about getting the laughs, it would be like what I was saying before. People who are just effective and all, they never bomb,
average.
they never smash it. Then that they would be the best. But that isn't true, is it?
I think that every act can smash it in different circumstances that are more suited to that individual.
In my bedroom in front of the mirror.
Yeah, that's it every night. Destroyed.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's sort of like
7 years bad luck.
It's true. That's it. So would that be in your bedroom? 7 years bad luck, or would
I think it extends to elsewhere. Stephen Wright's got that great joke, isn't it? That I broke a mirror. I got 7 years bad luck, but my lawyer thinks he can give me 5.
Yeah, that's good. Did you do any acting in college as well, or?
No, I didn't actually. I had no real. I was in a school play. I didn't really do much performing. I guess I always kind of did have an inkling to do it, but I thought it just wasn't for me. I think at school, like the kids who did drama were like, I don't know, for some reason I just didn't think it was for me.
Right.
Although I just did that one school play, which I did enjoy.
What's the name?
What was it? Oh, Bugsy Malone.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. But I didn't take... Lots of my mates took drama, and maybe in retrospect I wish I did. But for some reason I just didn't sort of consider that as an option. I was always into... I was into draw, like before I went to art school, and they told us we weren't allowed to draw.
All right.
They didn't tell us we weren't allowed to draw. But it was such a contemporary thinking course, like drawing and paintings, like... It's like not that important, is it? But yeah, no, like since I was a kid, I was like drawing and painting and stuff like that. But because it almost doesn't matter what if you want to make stuff, you'll find a way to do it. It almost doesn't matter. That's why I think like I was actually, for the reason I was saying before, I was drawn to comedy not actually for the making people laugh. It was mainly just like I was saying, there's a creative realm where you're totally in control. You just write something in the morning, get up at night, and it's just brilliant. That's the best thing about it. It's like the most
instant.
Yeah, exactly. There's the least sort of obstacles to doing the thing than any other. Mm-hmm. I think lots of comedians would say a similar thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That drew it. I think I was always going to be drawn to doing some sort of creative thing, and I'm just too lazy to do anything else. Well, not lazy, but I just like the immediacy. Do you know what I mean? I think lots of people would relate to that.
I mean, like the thing you said before about when you're an artist, you're like the insecurity and the anxiety that you have. You flip it. You flip the ego becomes massive.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Hiding that terrified child inside, and to protect it, right? You're like, no, I'm the greatest. Fuck you guys, and everyone can see straight through.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
And so when you see an act as well, they kind of go, oh no, I'm like, and they're like wherever they're from, they come up, and go, fucking is so amazing, blah blah blah, and they go up and they try that, that they try to do all the big bullshit sort of fucking act, and then it just fucking bombs hard because that's not who they are, really. Whereas they should have just gone up timid and just been like just them to talk about be themselves, be that terrified person they are, rather than the inside thoughts. That's not yourself. That's just your inside thought. But maybe the reason I did this then is the fact that I was terrified, and I spent my life convincing myself that I wasn't terrified, that I was totally fine.
Terrified of what?
Of life in general, of everything.
Yeah.
And just sort of like, and then that terror would become anger and aggression. So like, the stand-up was a thing that it terrified me wholly. And I was like, okay, fine. And then when I did that, I was like, oh, okay, well then, and then everything just was like, oh, you sort of slain the beast of your soul, and then you can go, right, okay, no, that's fine. I can function as a normal human being in society because I can kind of relate to people for 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
No, definitely, man. Yeah, I think that's quite. Lots of comics would relate to that. I think I saw it more like similar to what you were saying, but in a slightly different way. I was definitely terrified of the world. How did you phrase it? Yeah, and I guess I still am to a degree, but I'm getting better, improving on that. I think weirdly, stand-up's like that thing of if you're like anxious all the time. I always feel like all the time people are looking at me and judging me, right? But when I do stand-up, I know they're looking at me and judging me. Do you know what I mean? It's a difference. It's like you're in control of it. Yeah. You're like. I feel like just when I'm in the supermarket, everyone's like looking at me, and like thinking, "Who's this guy?" But when you're on stage, you've chosen that, and then you also choose what to say. So
you're staring into the face.
But weirdly, it's like you feel. It's that weird thing, isn't it? How you seek out. I think it's true, actually, not just stand up. I think people like anxious people seek out these incredibly extreme scenarios, because it's like a paradox where it makes you feel in control by being in this.
Yeah.
You know, some people choose like mountain climbing or fucking whatever extreme sports. I think it's all the same kind of impulse.
That's it.
I think that's a similar personality trait to people who do comedy. It's just what you choose.
I mean, it's this or cutting ourselves, isn't it? Really, that's
right. Although I've never been.
No,
I understand logically why people do that, but I've never. Yeah, you're right though. It is a similar thing. But I definitely feel like before I go on stage, really relaxed. Definitely isn't the word, but like totally focused.
Yeah,
like a total like. So you're saying because it's not and it's not nerves. It's not nerves. It's just, I quite often like if it's an important gig, I'll quite often be like this. Like, but it's weird. But people are like, what's wrong? I've got my head in my hands, by the way. For people, don't I? But it's not. I just feel like really like. I guess it's just loads of adrenaline sort of going through you, and you're just like. And I love that feeling. It feels great. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure. That's
it. Revisiting the gigs that have been amazing. It's like, just going through this.
You feel just intense focus, basically.
Yeah. I model myself in a specific job. We all model ourselves on certain like trades, maybe, or certain archetypes of hardworking individuals, like in the world, or it could be real or imaginary, like sort of like say, you might picture yourself as a superhero, or you go up there. Okay, I'm Dave Green. This is me. I'm bringing this person, the Hulk or whatever it is. So, what is your version of Dave Green that goes on stage and destroys?
I don't know about goes on stage and.
Or just maybe destroys.
But as a comedian, but my comedian. All right, why? Yeah, because as you were saying that, I thought what popped in my head is when I used to do the one-liners, I thought of myself as like I usually think of making a one-liner. It is almost like making something physical. So it's almost like a carpenter, like you've made something out of wood or something. And you've gone, well, I'm like a little machine or something. Do you know what I mean? Like a perfect machine. Yeah. So I guess like a machinist or like an engineer or what do you call that? Yeah. But. And then, like, I guess the longer bits, it works on the same level. Yeah, so some sort of, again, it might sound corny, especially given our talk of art school. But it's almost like a sculptor, I guess, that you're fucking trying to find the like it's in there somewhere and you're just trying to fucking find it.
A ghost.
Yeah. Like ghost, exactly, I guess that's, it does almost feel like something physical, making jokes.
Yeah. You just really like sort of...
Which is weird because I'm shit at like DIY.
Right, so just be an ashtray every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's an unfinished coffee table.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I guess something like that.
Oh, what was it? What was the other question?
It's my go-to story or something.
Yes.
You phrased that in a weird way. You said, what's your go-to story?
This is it. This is like,
social engagement. I was like, I don't have social engagement.
Now talking to you, it's like, well, I think it's a story about the serving plates, the dinner party serving plates.
Oh, yeah. So I did think of one, actually. This definitely isn't my go-to story, but it's one that happened a while ago. I told someone about it the other day, so it popped in my head. Because they're talking about mind reading and shit. And I did this gig it's actually just down the road in Leytonstone. This weird gig in a cafe, and I was on after the mind reader. And I was meant to be going to my friend's birthday thing afterwards. And I was meant to do my set and just fucking leave, right? Because I promised him I'll go to his birthday. But the act after me was a mind-reading act, and I got roped, and he was like, think of a number. And I was the fucking guy for the number. So I had to stay there to the end of his act. It was like, it's like after a gig, you just want to leave, man. And I was just stuck there for like 20, 25 minutes waiting to come up at the end. But anyway, it was a fairly straightforward mind-reading thing where I think I wrote down a number on a chalkboard, whatever, 68. And then he looked in my eyes, and as far as I remember, he just guessed 68, which is, I don't know, maybe that isn't that impressive if you know how that shit's done, but I didn't know how it was done. But the point is, I went to my friend's birthday party, and I was like, fuck, sorry guys, I'm late. I got stuck with this fucking mind reader guy. And he made me guess, and he guessed a number that I'd drawn on this chalkboard, and my friend just turned around with 68.
Whoa.
How weird's that?
Yeah, that's
and I freaked out. I was like,
yeah, totally.
Fuck, that's what I did. And they were like, what?
How did he know that, though?
Well, is it just... Well, it depends what you believe. I believe it's just a coincidence, but a very...
very...
a dramatic one, right? Because it's any number out of 100.
Totally.
That's quite cool, isn't it?
68.
Because it was funny, because that was like... Usually shit like that, I'm like, oh, this is just lame. But then it was like, oh, maybe there is. maybe there is a bit of magic in the world. I've been Dave Green. But you know what I mean? It was
love each other. Come on,
that was quite fun.
Yeah, maybe seen you guys act though.
Huh?
It was just down the road, the dinner party thing.
No, it was like right the way across London. There was no link whatsoever.
Whoa. 68, that's weird.
It was there in a cafe there, and the fucking party was in Hammersmith or something.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's no way they could.
That is odd.
They're totally unrelated things. Yeah, it was just a coincidence. And I googled it afterwards. I can't remember where it was, 60 hour number, but whatever number it was, I googled to see if that was like a common number that everyone chose or something. Jaron, if it was something as simple as that.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
Crazy. And so
that's quite weird, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, man. Especially how it just get it.
See, that was quite a good story. It was better than I thought. That story.
That's it. Is that the one you crack out and you go, guys? You know,
I don't crack out that often, but no, I will be. Do people have stories that they crack out?
There are a couple of people, like who do that. You know,
I guess I'm not really like a storyteller in my day-to-day life.
But that's
I'm trying to think. That's probably the best one.
But that's the thing. It's like for me, I used to be a very anxious person. Like I'd be in a room with people and I'd be just sitting there kind of watching. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm not watching where you're taking notes, but just kind of go, all right, let's see what's going on. And then occasionally I'd throw in the line here, but and then I see, after a while, like the ego thing kind of took over. It's like, no, fuck it, just fucking go for it. Just say something. Yeah. And a friend of mine would always be telling stories about fucking making everyone laugh and holding court and shit. I'm like, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that's fucking holding everyone's attention. I fucking can do that, you know? And so, because I throw a line
and now you make people pay to see you do that.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And so, I was like that, and then it became that guy. But it's like, but the stories, and then I thought, I can just tell those stories. But no, you can't. They're only good in those certain situations because everyone's fucking hammered, or on drugs or whatever the fuck's going on. Did your missus come to see you a few times, right? Is she into comedy as well? I mean,
no, she has no interest at all.
Really?
Which is quite good actually in a way. Like she came in the early days. She's come recently actually to see me do a few previews. But she's fucking brutal, man. If something doesn't work, she'll be like, "Yeah, that didn't work."
It's fucking.
I guess it's better that than someone going, "Oh, yeah,
it's okay.
It's brilliant."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you want honesty, don't you? Really, but that's why you don't bring her that often, I guess, isn't it? I'm the same. I can't bring my wife to the Kings anymore. It's too hard. It's too hard. I want to build up my confidence, not to tear it apart.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm too I'll even go to why didn't you say it was good? And she's like, because I didn't think so. He's like, just pretend. Just pretend.
It's a new piece of material. Yeah. Give it a chance.
Or I'll ask, this is a classic one, I'll ask for feedback. Like I'm trying to, in designing my Edinburgh poster at the moment, I keep asking her, so what do you think about this? What do you think about it? And she'll go like, I like it. She'll be like, I like it. And I'll go, nah, you're wrong. Yeah. You've got what you think. And depending what mood I'm in, I either want them to say it's great, or I might want them to say it's shit.
Yeah. You need to do a signal. Go. This right hand up for say it's good. Left hand, just like a little signal.
And whatever they say, I'll just disagree with it.
Yeah.
So one thing I've realised that I do with feedback is I'll totally disregard and go, that's bullshit, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. And then 6 months later, I'll do that thing and then pretend it was my idea. That's what I always do.
Yeah.
I assimilate it and forget who said it to me, and then I'll do it and think it's my idea, and then I'll go, oh, actually, that was that person who told me to do that. Oh, yeah. The things that I said was bullshit at the time.
I get that. I do that a lot as well. My missus will might give me. We'll be talking about something I do. She's funny as well, but we meet on humour. Throw a line to her, she'll throw something back to me, and then my line will be okay. Hers will be great, but I'll automatically think that I thought of that line. I'm like, no, that's my joke. No, that's not your joke. That is fucking.
Do you ever try
joke.
And write with other comics?
I find it's very difficult. I find.
Yeah, I'm not sure how helpful it is. I do. I used to with Nick Dixon a little bit, and we always used to argue
about like what we
about who owns what bit. And then we got really strict. We were like, right, this is your time, 10 minutes, and whatever's said in that time belongs to the person. Because sometimes you go off on a tangent, and because our voices are so different, I would start to his bit, and then I'll think, and I go, oh, that's actually quite good. I might not know that. And then you'd be like, hang on, no, but that's come off my bit, and I'm like, no, but we've gone so many leaps, it's become a different bit. And I'm like, well, are you going to use the bit? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, why do you care if I use it? And he's like, because it came off my brainstorm. And I'm like, who fucking cares? And it would happen the other way around. It was kind of fun in a way, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know how useful it is. It's just an excuse. It's like the same reason we're doing this podcast. Once you get to a certain age, you can't just go, do you want to hang out with me?
No, you need to do
comics,
something.
There needs to be a reason.
I know, right?
We're doing a podcast, we're writing jokes, we're doing... There's more of that actually than actually writing the jokes.
We're all in this together, but on our own. Well, always on our own. Let's just delude ourselves into thinking we're not on our own forever until we die. Yeah.
Russell Hicks said that about the podcast. He's like, he enjoys doing it, but basically what I just said, he's like, yeah, but sometimes he thinks it's sad that like we can't just get together and have a chat without recording it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with comedians? Like,
that's true.
Can't you just
we need to we're distracting. It's constantly distracting ourselves. Yeah.
You can't just have like a human connection. It's like, this could be content. Yeah. This is content.
Totally. Dave Green, your show is in Bar 50 at 6 o'clock called
Bar 50,
Melt.
6 o'clock on the Free Fringe.
The Free Fringe.
Melt. Dave Green Melt.
With, is it Laughing Horse or PVH?
Laughing Horse.
Laughing Horse, right. Okay, cool. Well, Dave, thanks for coming on the show, man.
That was good fun, wasn't it?
It's been.
Yeah, still got a whole flapjack left.
Update over. And that was episode 62 with a very funny, the guy who has a lot of social anxiety about objects, who is doing his show at Bar 50 at 6 o'clock at the Edinburgh Fringe. The name of that show is called Melt. Go and check his stuff out. He's a very funny guy. As I said, I went to go and see his show last year called Slug. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. So guys, go check it out. 6 o'clock, Bar 50, every day at the Edinburgh Fringe. Dave Green, Melt. If you want to follow this podcast on Twitter, we're there at The Comedy Defect Podcast. We also have a Facebook group called The Comedy Defect Podcast. It's quite original. You can also follow me on Twitter at WinterPhoneander. You can also find some jokes that I'm stripping from the Guinness Encyclopedia on Twitter under the handle at Guinness Jokes. I haven't been doing a lot of that recently, but I've been writing this new show called By the Power of Grayskull. It's a lot of fun. Did I tell you it's on the 29th of June at the Shaftesbury Fringe, and that is Shaston Social Club at 10:30pm, and that is this Friday. Yeah, I've been previewing it around the place. It's been great fun to work out some stuff there, and it's been real funny, and I got some great feedback, so come and see it. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast, or donate as little as £1 or as much as you feel this podcast is worth. And those of you that do donate, thanks. Those of you that don't donate, hey, that's okay. Just leave us a nice honest review on iTunes or Podbean, because it just really helps. Tells people where we are and what we're doing. That's it for episode 62 with Dave Green. Hope you enjoyed that one. Next month, we've got a guy that's been putting in the miles. It is very funny, Luke Stephen, for episode 63. That is at the end of July. And whatever you do, enjoy June. It's hot. And as I say, Dave Green's show is called Melt. Fitting that we should be doing this in June when it is absolutely melting out there at the moment. Dave Green, Melt, Bar 50, every day at the Edinburgh Fringe. And that is at 6 o'clock. Until July, wear sun cream.